Growing up in the 1970s when Star Wars first came out, there was only ever one Han Solo. This is Han Solo. This chap here. This is Han Solo with his tauntaun. And this is Han Solo's Bezzy, Chewie. He loves Chewie. He loves Chewie so much that him and Chewie were friends till the bitter end. Friends till the bitter end. So what do we make of a new Han Solo? We say new, but the character is essentially the same. It's very difficult for somebody to come on board and fill the boots of Harrison Ford. Alden Ehrenreich is going to do his best to give his own version of what the lovable smuggler is, was and always will be. It's a little bit like when Sean Connery hung up his Walther PPK and became Roger Moore. It was never going to be the same, but at the same time, it was always going to be the same. Han Solo is Han Solo. As a young un, Han Solo was my favourite character, and I suppose really to this day that has remained. I wasn't much for the Force and for the Jedi when I was a 7-8-year-old back in the day. In fact, most of my time was running around on the playground pretending I was Han Solo, running through make-believe corridors on the Death Star, more often than not with the tallest of my friends playing the part of Chewbacca. With the new trailer out, we get to see a little bit more about what this film is likely to be. The content is likely to be of the underworld. Star Wars hasn't really delved into this yet. There was a little hint of it, I suppose, in Rogue One. Some of the shady dealings of Cassian, particularly at the start of the film. But I really do like the look of this film. I think the tone of it looks fantastic. I think Lando in this newer trailer comes across particularly well. I think Han Solo comes across really well. It's always going to be an interpretation of the character as opposed to a copy of Harrison Ford. And let's face it, that is always going to be the best way to go. It looks to me as though there's going to be some good humour in this film as well, and not forced like it has been in, shall we say, The Last Jedi. I'm still trying to come to terms with that film in many ways. It's odd that today, when The Last Jedi was available in shops, we also got the new trailer for Solo. And to be honest, I was more excited about that trailer than I was of sticking the silver disc into my Blu-ray player and watching a film that, although I'd seen 5 times at the cinema, I wasn't really much for. The prospect of seeing a young Han Solo, maybe not as young as this little fella here, is quite an enticing thing for me. Now, I know a lot of people think that you should leave well alone and try not to meddle in the past of such an established and well-loved character, but why not? At least with Rogue One and now with Solo, a Star Wars story, you get to go back to the time specific area that the original Star Wars films were in. And in that, we should get something that feels more Star Wars-y than perhaps the prequels and the sequels ever could. So as well as Han and Chewie, who else might we see in this film? Well, obviously we're going to see Lando, but wouldn't it be great if this fella made an appearance at some point? Yeah, Fett. Now I've got a feeling that he will be in the film, and that Han and Fett might even be friends at this point in their relationship. Wouldn't it be great that it was actually Han that did Fett over, and Fett was actually the good guy, in essence? There's even rumours of a Vader appearance. Now, if that is the case, I'd like to think it's while Han is at the Imperial Academy, and it might be something similar to in Indiana Jones, where Hitler signs Jones's diaries. Maybe Vader will sign something of Solo's in a sort of like homage to that. And it's going to be great to see this little baby flying again, albeit in a slightly different configuration, with an extension to its familiar front end. Intriguing to see how that detaches and what point in the film that takes place, but I'm sure that will happen. So whether you preferred your Han Solo with a big head or a little head back in the day, don't worry, the character of Solo will continue, be it Harrison Ford or Alden Ehrenreich, and maybe even in future cartoon series animated programs that will bring on the adventures of Solo from Jedi on. Han Solo lives. Han Solo rocks. Cheers.